Hello and welcome back to Girls Inc. You have entered into the training video module number 4. This is called the Stress Dial module. Now, as facilitators, you're going to pick up a keen sense of what's going on with the young girls. This will be your 4th time connecting and meeting the girls, so you'll start learning about their personalities, who will be sitting next to each other every class period that you may want to decide to move seats. So other girls that are a little shy are partnered with girls that are a little bit more vocal, and you kind of want to mix up the mix. But you also want to start paying attention to if there are any stress factors that are going on with young people. Even in the 4th and 5th grade, young girls are experiencing some childhood traumas or stresses that are really consuming their thoughts sometimes. They are sensitive about who they are developing as young ladies. Do they have the right hair? Are they wearing the coolest clothes? Do they have the greatest friends that are clicking up and being girls over here, but maybe leaving girls over here out? So there are a lot of stresses that are happening with girls also at home. Some things that in the beginning of class when we start talking to young girls of what is concerning them. Some girls are welcoming new siblings into the family. Some girls are experiencing new blended families where new family members are moving in. Sometimes siblings are moving away and going away to college. Sometimes parents are getting remarried and there's new siblings that are moving into the house. Sometimes the girls are moving from one school district to another, one house to another, and they've got to learn new friends in their communities again. So there's a lot of different stresses that our young people are going through, and you want to spend this module with allowing these young ladies to express themselves through our stress dials. So let's go ahead and share our screen with our Microsoft OneNote so we could take a look at our curriculum again. Within Module 1, here are some helpful hints for you as the facilitator. Again, as usual, make sure you do roll call, ask the girls to share one great thing about themselves, allow them to start reciting on their own the girls' Bill of Rights, as well as any type of special announcements. Again, there is your curriculum down here in a PDF version, so you'll want to make sure you'll print this out or you'll read through this to understand what our objectives are for this particular module. And so there's a lot of stresses, again, that young ladies will go through, and a very constructive way of doing this is through the stress dial. Your stress dial will be found at the end of this PDF. See your stress dial? So you want to make sure ahead of time that either at the Girls Inc. office or at the school that you print out enough of these stress dials. This is not something that goes on the large Post-it notes. Every girl will have their own stress dial, and every girl will have their favorite special colored marker. Now, what we like to do to keep the girls active and on their feet and feel like they're moving so they're not sitting down, resting their head on their desk during lunchtime, is that sometimes we like to post these stress dials on the wall. So post them at eye level so it's not too high and not too low, so they're able to stand up and have some motion during the class. Now, this stress dial is very unique because it allows the girls to creatively express in their own writing, and they get to take this home. We hear a lot of feedback from our girls that when you give us things to print out that we get to write on and that we take home, that we hang it up on their wall. And this is a way also that if they're writing down what's happening in their stress, number one, if you see anything alarming, that you can discuss that with the school counselor, and the school counselor can look at the stress dial and work on strategies to help get the student the best support services that they need. Also, if this stressed out, that the girls would take it home and encourage them to put this on their wall at home with their parents' permission, that this is a great conversational piece with the parent at home if there are some underlying stresses that they're not picking up on or that they have questions about, that the girl is feeling transparent in the class to write these down. Now, this is a little stress dial that they get to complete. So you'll set your timer for about 2 to 3 minutes and you'll go through each one of these blocks. Now, the PDF gives you instructions in regards to how to creatively ask these questions. So you'll spend a little time on what are stressful events for you. Maybe it's relocating to another house. Maybe it's the blended family. Maybe it's the arrival or the expectation of the arrival of a new sibling. What is a stressful event for you? Sometimes kids, a stressful event is for them getting on the school bus in the morning and the afternoon because maybe there's a bully. You also want to ask them, what are the causes of their stress? Like, is there someone that's stressing you out? Is there a girlfriend? Is there a sibling? Is there a teacher? What is the cause of your stress? There's 2 different boxes for them to write the cause of their stress here. And if they want to get more specific, they can write it here in the triangles. A real important question to ask them is, how do you deal with stress? Now, I'm going to jump back for a moment to our pre and post test. If you look here on your pre and your post test, that's one of the questions that we ask the students, to ask them examples of ways to reduce stress by listening to music. Do they scream in someone's face? Do they talk to someone about their stress? Do they break things, or do they write in a journal? When you're going through this in Module 4 with the stress styles, you want to emphasize, you want to find out how they're currently dealing with stress and ask them to write it down. You also want to give them helpful tools like on the pre and post test. Like, have you ever considered writing in your journal? Have you ever considered turning your radio on and dancing real crazy, as wild as you want to? Have you considered asking them to talk to a trusted teacher, or to talk to an older sibling that will give them good advice, or even their parents? So ask them, how do they constructively deal with stress? Then you always want to reserve 3 to 5 minutes of every workshop to allow them to use their voice. You also, to share their own answers. You also want to give them a moment to be a girl. Coloring is always fun things for girls to do. So ask them to spend a moment to put a face on that girl. Make sure that you ask them to illustrate in this stressed out the most happiest moment that they see a reflection of themselves. Encourage them to put a smile on the young girl's face. Put more markers on the table with vibrant colors so they can put a creative, pretty bow colored in their hair, or for them to design their very beautiful dress. And so you'll give them a moment to, again, share their voice as well as color in their stress style. This is an awesome way to connect with the girls, to also give your examples of how you deal with stress. Because us young girls grow into strong and bold and smart women, and we learn tools when we're young how to deal with stress. I tell the young ladies that sometimes I run myself a hot bath, or I listen to soft music, or I make myself my favorite herbal tea, to show them adults deal with stress as well, but we think of creative as well as constructive ways to channel our stress. This is Module 4, the stress style. And you as a facilitator also, we encourage you to also fill out the stress style periodically so you can learn creative ways to identify your stress and how to relieve that stress. Thanks for joining us for the module of the stress style.